is with us?
Dale in Illinois.
Okay, hi, Dale, Illinois. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, Dan, it's Maureen from Roanoke, Virginia.
Okay, Virginia. Thanks for joining us tonight. Folks, who else is with us?
Steve from Rockford.
From Rockford? Okay, great. Thanks for joining us. Steve, good to have you on the line with us.
Good to be back.
Who else is with us tonight? Well, folks, our call tonight is going to be on aging gracefully, and we all want to age gracefully. Who else is with us on the call? This is Jan in Texas, and go ahead and get a pen and paper. I want you to take some notes with us tonight. We've got a very special call. This is our first one of the year. So we're going to do some things different tonight. We're going to make some changes, and I think you're going to like what you hear. So grab your pen and paper. Who else has joined us this evening?
My name's Jan.
Hey, Jan. Where are you from? Okay. Folks, I'm going to go ahead and get our call started right now. So if you'll pause with me for a minute, I'm going to make the connections.
Interrupt there. Oh,
Muted. Muted.
recording started.
Okay, we are ready to begin. And folks, again, this is Jan in Texas. If you're just calling in and you're just joining us right now, I've put it on presentation mode so that we can all hear real well tonight. Make sure you've got your pen and paper. This is the first call of our new year, and what a great call it's going to be. We're going to be talking about aging gracefully. And we're all going to age, folks, all of us, and we definitely want to do it with grace. We've got a very exciting call planned for you tonight. Tonight we're going to focus on the importance of proper hydration. We're going to focus on how to keep our bodies from falling apart. In other words, just how can we age gracefully. And the third thing we're going to focus on is why Kangen water is the best water to help us age gracefully. Did you know that about 75% of the American people are chronically dehydrated? So I want you to think about that. If you lined up 12 of your friends in front of you, 9 of them are chronically dehydrated. Now, it might show up with things like constipation or fatigue or maybe something more serious, but most Americans are going through life mildly to severely dehydrated, and they don't know it. So tonight we're going to share with you the importance of hydration. Stu, are you with me on the line? If you are, come out and unmute yourself and just say that you're here. I'll wait for you for just a little bit here. Okay, he'll come with me in just a little bit. All right, what I want to do is I want to look backwards a little bit into 2017. And you know, it was a great year. 3 things happened that stood out to me. One of the things that happened was Enagic opened up several new offices. It included France and Italy and Dubai. Also, something else that happened that was really special, and that's that 1 million machine cells were made worldwide. That means 1 million families were able to enjoy Kangen water. That's pretty cool. And the next thing that is really special to me is in this year, my mom turned 83, and she's medicine-free. So that was really special to me. Now, I'm going to put the presentation mode on for just a minute. Would you hold on with me for just a minute?
Unmuted.
Muted. Okay, now Stu, are you with me right now? If you are, just say Jan. I can hear you. Okay, we must be having some technical challenges. Okay, hang on. He's texting me, so hang on just a minute. It'll be worth your wait, so hang on just a minute. Okay. What I just read his text. Okay, what happened, folks, is I was going to bring my mom on tonight and have her share her testimony. And Stu was going to three-way her on, and they're having technical problems. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to play the clip for you right now. I'll just sort of move ahead until we can remedy the technical challenges. But tonight I want to share with you a very special, important message that Dr. Berry wanted to share with us. And as we're talking about aging gracefully, we have all enjoyed Dr. Berry in the past, helping us understand how important it is to properly hydrate our body. Now, I'm going to have you wait. It's going to take me about a minute and a half to connect us with Dr. Berry's teaching. It is a clip from one of his calls that we did before on aging gracefully, and this is a very important part of it. If I'm able to bring my mom on later, I will. If not, we'll just have her another time. But I want you to go ahead and wait for me for about a minute and a half. I'm still on the call with you. I just have to connect it. And during this part, Stu was going to do some talking, but since he's having some technical difficulty, I'm just going to go ahead and move ahead. But stick with me. It's going to take me about a minute and a half to connect, and this is what the part is going to be about. You're going to start hearing about Dr. Berry teaching us how important it is that our cells are healthy and that they're fully hydrated. He's going to be talking about actually the cell health of a chicken cell and a study that was made several years ago. And so as I bring him on and he's talking about this, I want you to listen to his story and teaching, and then he's going to be going on from there, and he's going to teach us how to age gracefully. He's going to share with us some of the properties of Kangen water. He's going to have tips for us on how to age gracefully. You will want to stick with the call, so wait with me here for about a minute and a half, and I will bring his clip on.
Dan, it's Stu.
Okay, you there?
Can I share something with you real quickly?
Sure.
Hi, everybody. I'm having a little bit of a technical problem bringing your mom on the line. When I tried to call in, I accidentally double-clicked when I went to put her on hold, and now she's on hold waiting for me to call her back, and I can't call her back because she's on the line waiting for me.
Okay. Folks, if you'll just wait for us, we're all friends here anyway. So if you'll wait for us, let me see if I can call her and if maybe that she'll see that I'm calling her. So hang on with us. We're all friends here anyway.
To bring her back on the line, and I can't bring her back on because I accidentally disconnected it, and she's still waiting until the line's off the hook, basically.
Okay. Well, hold on.
It's my fault.
It's okay. We're all friends here anyway, folks. So hang on, and I'll see if I can catch her.
Hi, everybody. Sorry for the confusion. This is Stu. Hope you all had a wonderful holiday season and anxious to get back to bringing you these good calls again this year. Jan trusted me to bring her mother. Her mother's got such a great testimony tonight to share with us on the line, and when I went to put her on hold to call into this call, I accidentally double-clicked, and now it's a fiasco because I don't know how to get back to her, so hopefully Jan can figure it out.
Okay, it is just ringing. It is going to go ahead and just ring busy. So what we'll do is we're going to go ahead and listen to Dr. Berry. If we can get her tonight, we will. If not, I will go ahead and get her on another call. So, Stu, it's
real
going to take...
quick, can I ask you,
yes?
Excuse me, is that a cell phone or a landline? Can I text her, or is it a landline?
It's a landline, and she doesn't have a cell.
All right. Well, I'll keep trying, and if I should happen, if she gives up and hangs up and I finally get through to her, then I'll text you and let you know.
Okay, that'll be fine. Now, Stu, it's going to take me about a minute and a half to bring Dr. Berry on, and I've introduced the part that he's going to be sharing with us. So if you have a couple things that you want to say, then I'll go ahead. This is a good time, and it'll take me about a minute and a half to connect us.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. Hi, everybody. My name is Stu Sweeney. I'm a certified natural health professional in Laguna Beach, California. I know some of you listening already know me. Those of you that are on the call for the first time and haven't heard us before or don't know me, I'll give you a little background. I've been studying health for 42 years. And a little over 10 years ago, I learned about this incredible water that we're here going to share information with you tonight. And in 42 years of studying health, I've never found anything that's as incredible as this water. And I know if you're new to this, it sounds too good to be true. I thought the same thing at first. I know it's natural to be skeptical. I was too. The natural thing is to think, well, if it's so great, why don't our doctors know about it? We all had to go through that learning curve. But here's the bottom line. I've been sharing this water with thousands of people all over the United States now for more than 10 years, and it's just absolutely been amazing what it does. The bottom line is that the water doesn't heal or cure or treat disease. What it does is it detoxifies the body, it hydrates the body, and it alkalizes the body. And when you can get the body back in that state of balance where it's cleaned out inside, where it's detoxified, where you get all the chemicals and poisons and pesticides and fungicides and prescription drug residues, all the things that build up in our body as pollutants over our lifetime, when you can clean those out of the body on a cellular level, and when you can optimally hydrate the cells on a cellular level and restore an alkaline pH balance, this unleashes the body's ability to self-heal. God designed our bodies to heal themselves. It's on a cellular level. Every cell in the body and the DNA knows exactly how to heal, but the problem is the body can't heal itself when it's acidic or when it's toxic or when it's dehydrated. But by drinking this incredible Kangen water, you alkalize your body, you deeply hydrate your body, and you detoxify your body simultaneously. And when you do those three things, that puts the body back into the perfect balance that it needs to be in so that it can use its own incredible healing powers, and that's exactly what it does. So whatever health challenge you may have or your loved one may have, the name of it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter because all the health challenges are caused by the same things. They're all caused by toxins that accumulate in the body. They're all caused by free radicals that damage our cells. They're all caused by being dehydrated and being acidic, and to a lesser extent, some malnourishment. But these are the underlying things of all disease conditions. And when you drink Kangen water, it addresses those conditions more effectively than anything else in the world. So that's the good news we're here to share with you. It sounds so incredible. It's absolutely true. And this isn't unproven. They've been using it in Japanese hospitals now for more than 45 years. I mean, hundreds of hospitals in Japan use this water for their patients, and thousands of medical doctors in Japan prescribe this water to their patients to help them restore their health. And Japan, of course, as you know, probably lives longer than any country in the world. They have the least heart disease, the least diabetes, the least cancer. So I can go on and on, which those of you that know me, I do that often, but it's because I'm so excited. I've never found any health condition. I mean, literally, in 10 years working with thousands of people, I've never found any health condition that doesn't improve when you hydrate the body, when you detoxify the body, and when you alkalize the body. And this water is more effective at doing that than anything else in the world. So my recommendation is listen with an open mind, learn what you can. Whoever invited you to the call, they can share research and information with you. There's ample books out there, even on PubMed. You can go to pubmed.gov, and there's over 100 studies now on this water on PubMed. It's scientifically proven. So you want to look under the category of electrolyzed reduced water. Don't look under alkaline water, because alkaline water is a dime a dozen now. Everybody's jumped on the bandwagon. There's all kinds of cheap, ineffective ways to make water alkaline. But this is electrolyzed reduced water. It's a category all by itself, electrolyzed reduced water. And if you go to PubMed, you can find over 100 studies there today confirming and validating what it does.
Okay, I'm back, Stu, when you're ready.
All right, I'm all set. Anyway, Happy New Year, everybody, and I highly recommend that you make this water part of your life. It's the single most important thing you'll ever do for your health or your family's health. So, thanks, Jen.
Okay. Thanks, Stu.
You're welcome.
Thanks for bearing with us, everyone. And right now, what we're going to be listening to is a clip by Dr. Berry. He's going to be sharing with us how important it is to hydrate our cells. He's going to give us an example of a chicken cell and a study that was done several years ago. And then from there, he's going to share with us tips on how we can age gracefully. So here we go. Hang on.
And the truth is, they know how to clone more than you would want to know that we know how to clone. But what they found was that when the cell was put in the right environment, that this cell could be preserved. And the cell had this incredible ability for longevity. But the fluid medium that it was bathed in was the difference. So I want to point you to a study. This was by Dr. Alexis Carrel, and he was a French doctor at the turn of the century. Most of his work was in the early 1900s, like 1912 to the 1940s. Alexis Carrel. And what he did was he took a chicken heart and he put it in a fluid medium, and this medium was, of course, mostly water, and it was at a specific alkaline pH because living tissue, animal and human tissue, is at an alkaline pH of 7.40 optimally. And, of course, we need some nutrients. And here's something that most people don't know. Every cell of your body eats, and every cell of your body poops. So you put this chicken heart into this water, alkaline water, with some nutrients in it, and the next day, all the nutrients were gone. The water was less. It had drunk some of the water, and the water had become acidic, and there was metabolic waste. There was cellular waste in the water. So old Alexis said, what if we change that water? And we'll wash out the waste and return that water to alkaline, and we'll put some more nutrition in, and we'll see what happens. So they kept doing this, and they kept this chicken heart in perfect, unaged condition. Now, under a microscope, you can look at a cell really close, like the cells of your heart, and a scientist could look at, you could give them a heart from any age person, and the scientist would look at the cells and predict the age. Oh, this is a baby heart. This is a teenager heart. This heart's about 40 years old. This heart's about 80 years old. So we can see that degenerative process. Well, in this chicken heart, it didn't age. You could see no discernible change in the cells of this chicken heart. Now, a normal, healthy chicken in the good old days used to live about 8 years. That's optimal. Today's chickens live about 8 weeks because we mass produce them. We blow them up like balloons and drugs, and butcher them and send them with their 5 or 6 legs and 18 wings and 2 beaks down to the butcher shop so that we have enough hot wings for every restaurant. I digress a little bit. Back to the healthy chicken. The chicken should live about 8 years. He kept this chicken heart perfect, unaged, no cellular degeneration for 28 years. That's almost 4 times the optimal lifespan of a perfect, healthy chicken of the good old days. Now, probably all of you know some ancestors in your history that were way healthier than you in their 80s and 90s. And if you look back, it's a big misconception that in the old days we didn't live long. The national averages were filtered in with wars, and and famines and those kind of things. But we've been living longer years in the past than we do now. So back to this chicken. Unaged for 28 years. Now, let me tell you why the study ended. One of the lab techs that was in charge of changing the fluid over a holiday weekend, he thought the other guy was doing it. Big mix-up. It came back in 4 days in that acidic waste. There was so much damage that it was beyond saving, and they pretty much scrapped the study. But the data they had collected proved that if you kept changing that fluid, wash out the waste, return the hydration level of good, clean, alkaline water, and feed it a little bit of nutrition, you could keep those cells in perfect condition forever. So when we look at aging, most people, are kind of concerned about their looks. So we'll look at the face. When your face ages, you got billions of cells in an area that makes up your nose and your cheeks and your eyes. So imagine the fluid bathing those cells, and those cells are breaking down, and enough of them break down in one area, and that beautiful luster of youth is gone, and it shows up as, the old leathery, wrinkly, spotty look that we're all familiar with. Well, when that happens in your low back, the joint and bone and cartilage is breaking down. When it happens in your internal organs, like your heart, you're getting slower, you're dragging. When it's happening in your eyes, your vision's failing. When it's happening systemically, you're failing. So, what if you change the fluid every day in your body? No matter where you're at, you can improve the status and you can reverse it. Especially if you've never had Kangen water, let me explain to you what Kangen water is. And I'll start with what water is today. All right, so God gave us this perfect gift of H2O that would naturally collect ambient oxygen and minerals from the environment, especially helpful minerals like calcium and magnesium and potassium. That's what natural good water is. And if you go up high enough in altitude, like the Himalayan mountains, in a country called Hunza, there's a glacier there that has a continual melt-off into a river, and that glacier melt-off produces a water that is super crisp and super clean and almost has a cloud to it because there's so much energy and oxygen and natural minerals in this water. And so they call it glacier milk. Now, when you collect this water in a glass, after the clouds settle and the energy settles, it's crystal clear. And you taste it, and it's the best tasting water you ever tasted. And the people in this country, Hunza, that drink this water and have been drinking it their whole lives, well, they're the healthiest people on earth. So it would make sense that we would study these people, and scientists have been studying them for over 100 years. Close to 200 years, actually. And it didn't take long to come to the conclusion it's the water. That's why they are so healthy. It's the water. And so over time, there were many attempts to collect this water, carry this water, build a pipeline for this water, etc. But they found that it had a living property, and it couldn't be stored. So the first thing I want to tell you about Kangen water is that it is living water. It has energy. And if you pour Kangen water into a bottle and store it for more than 4 days, all that energy is gone, and it starts to be dead water. So the first property about all the kind of water that everybody's drinking everywhere is that it is dead water. If you're drinking bottled water, tap water, filtered water, distilled water, reverse osmosis, everything except for what's coming from a very high altitude of moving water. It has to be high altitude. It can't just be like the North Carolina mountains are not far from us. That's still not high enough to be above the pollution stagnation line. So pollution, all the chemicals that we've created and all the poisons in our environment, they evaporate into the air. They're combined with the water, and that's what has created acid rain. And everybody knows about acid rain. It's been around since the 60s. And that's because we created so many chemicals. So, water that you drink is dead water. Because of all the chemicals, it is acidic. And the water, because of these properties, tend to clump together. It's very thick water. It's not pure and crisp. The kinds of chemicals that are most prevalent in the water are estrogen and pesticides and jet fuel, every kind of drug you can name, every kind of chemical like, just around your house, bleach, paint thinner, booze, cleaners, oven cleaner. What do you all do when you paint something? And you want to wash your brush. Where does all that go? What about, how everybody's buying tires for their car all the time? Where do you think all those tires go? Unfortunately, they don't make a nice rubbery road, but they break off and dissolve kind of microscopically and into the air, especially in big cities. And the rain washes it right into the groundwater. So we're drinking tons of it's not a pure rubber, it's some kind of synthetic petroleum product. So that's what people are drinking. And so our body is another thing you can write down. The human body, optimally, and it's very hard to find somebody that is optimally. I try to achieve optimally with my body, and I think I'm pretty close. But the optimal human body should be 75% water. Perfect. H2O. 75%. That means if you're 100 pounds, you're 75 pounds of water. 200 pounds, you're 150 pounds of water. And the next category is fat, and that's only 18%. So, again, 75 pounds of water and 18 pounds of fat. And this, again, is raw, healthy fat, not the bad kind of fat like the grease off a French fry. This is the kind of fat like from coconut and acai berry and avocados and olives and stuff that's raw. Once that fat has been heated or processed, it no longer is a good fat. If all the nuts and seeds that you consume are roasted or heated or cooked, then you're not getting the good raw fats. So I know people are a big fan of eating nuts and seeds, but you need to know about germinating them. So human body, 75% water, 18% fat. That leaves 7%. And that 7% is all else. That's everything else that we eat and drink, all our protein, our carbs, and our vitamins, and our minerals, and our glyconutrients, and our phytosterols. And so people are going nuts trying to search for things to feed that 7%, and they're blowing it. And that's why the health world is so frustrated. And that's why you are frustrated when you've tried to address your health, and you've taken all these supplements, and you've really worked on your diet, and you're exercising like crazy, and all you're affecting is that 7%. That's why you're not happy with your results. So now let's go over to Kangen water. Kangen water takes that acidic chemical dead water and runs it through a machine, and there's an electric charge across 7 big electrically charged plates made out of a very special combination of metals. Medical grade titanium and surgical grade platinum. two of the most highly energy conducting metals, but also the safest ones that won't contaminate your water. So when that water is electrocuted, imagine a lightning bolt is shooting right down through that water molecule and splitting it in half right through the H2O. And so here's a good thing about chemistry. All the acidic chemicals always attach to the hydrogen. That's a necessity. And then all the good stuff, the alkaline stuff, will attach to the oxygen. So what we're able to do with Kangen water, and I'm simplifying that a bit, I know. If there's any chemists on here, you're probably pulling your hair out, but I'm trying to keep this easy. But what happens is that water gets split, and we can pull it in two directions. And so what comes out of the drinking side is H2O plus oxygen plus alkaline minerals, all the good stuff. And it has a high electric charge, and the process causes a natural alkaline state. A natural alkaline state. That's really important. I know sometimes in order of simplification, people call Kangen water alkaline water, and that is such an understatement. That's like calling Jesus a prophet, you know. Yeah, he prophesied, but that's just such an understatement, okay? Kangen water becomes alkaline in the process of becoming perfectly clean, chemically free water. And it has a high natural energy state like the living water that exists from natural glacier melt-off. So that is why the Japanese named the water Kangen. Kangen is Kangen, and that is the Japanese word for return to origin. So their goal was, let's try to make the water like God gave it to us. Because these people that have been drinking it for thousands of years are the healthiest people on earth. And people in Hansa commonly live, and I say common, this is like the norm, is everybody lives past 100, but they're still fully functional. They're hiking up mountains at 120 and collecting, rocks and glacier water and glacier ice and hiking it back to the mountains or back home. So that's the kind of life you want. You want a life that no matter how long you live, you feel great. You know, you could go at any time, but the Bible says that you have ability from trusting in Him and following His path to increase your life. It's life to you, life to your bones and marrow to your flesh. So I believe God, again, leads our path and teaches us so that we can have more. So Kangen water, pure, chemical-free, H2O, oxygen, and minerals. It has a high energy state. It is naturally high in alkalinity. Now, again, if any of you are trying to get alkaline water from another source, it is probably bad for you. In order to create an alkaline state in any other way than this process, you have to add some kind of chemical. And the long-term use of this will always be. So I would warn you, don't do that. Kangen water has gotten worldwide popularity because of the miraculous results. So everybody's trying to do some kind of cheapo copy. And the latest thing is that you'll go to the store and you'll see water that says alkaline. It didn't even say 9.5 alkaline ionized water. And like if you were paying attention at the beginning, you found out that you cannot preserve this living water for more than 4 days. And bottled water on a shelf sometimes was bottled a month before they even brought it to the store. So it's a trick. It's a scam. So if you have perfect water, H2O, oxygen, and minerals in a naturally high alkaline state with energy, this is the most hydrating substance on Earth. This is the water. So if you want to make your body the healthiest body you can be, you want 75% of your body to be composed of perfect water in a high, naturally occurring alkaline state with energy. So, if I want to slow the aging or degenerative process, what do? Start drinking some Kangen water. Any amount will instantly slow the damage. If I'm an adult of average size, at least 150 pounds, and I consume at least 1 gallon of Kangen water, I am really, really slowing down almost to a stop the continual daily damage that happens to the human body. Almost. It depends on how bad you are. I mean, if your diet is loaded with really poisonous acidic stuff, then even 5 gallons couldn't stop it. But for most people that are trying, gallon does it pretty good. But if you reverse the aging process, then you want to consume more than a gallon and a half, even up to 2 gallons. And there's a method to doing that, so it doesn't rock your world too much or ring your bell, so to speak. And some of that information is on my website. But really, the only issue with adding a lot of perfect water at once is it's so cleansing that you will have extreme electrolyte fluctuation. Even though Kangen water has electrolytes in them, it causes a detoxification process which flushes toxins with electrolytes also. So when you're starting to drink more, you add sea salt. You add potassium and magnesium, and that's really all you have to do, and you pace yourself. So let me tell you what happens when you do not consume Kangen water. For the non-Kangen water consuming crowd, what's happening on a daily basis? You have a body that, if you think about a seed, like a seed of a big oak tree, an acorn. It's a very small seed, and when that seed is put in the ground and fed and watered, it will start to sprout. And eventually, a little bit comes out, and now we got food, water, and the sun shining on it. And that seed will grow to a big giant oak tree. And that growth process just requires food, water, and sun. Now, there's a certain programmed amount of energy in that seed that will cause it to be that big, giant, healthy. But when that point is reached, from that point on, now the tree is full grown, fully matured, and now it's just living. And dependent on the environment and the sun and the water and the food supply of the soil, that tree can do better or worse. So think about now the human baby. So we got a seed that's germinated, and it starts to grow. And that seed has a magical energy from God that it's going to grow up until about mid-teens, sometimes late teens. It's going to become full grown. From that point on, it's no longer in the growing and developing process, but now it is in the living process. And there's a peak of what we call anabolic growth, and that's where we get the word anabolic steroids. That means grow, cellular growth. In the old days, anabolic growth or anabolism lasted to age 40. And from age 40, then you were in a catabolic or catabolism, like cannibalism. You're eating your own tissues until the end. So that's why they used to say 40 was over the hill. Well, they reevaluated that in this past decade, and they found that we no longer are in a state of anabolism until age 40. It's nowhere near. In fact, now the peak of anabolic growth ends around age 20 to 22. So from age 22 on, you are now in a catabolic or self-consuming state, and you eat yourself right on to death. So imagine your little old grandpa with, no hair in his head, and his eyes are dim, he's got thick glasses, and he's hunched over, and he's just a frail little thing. And he used to be a 6 foot, big, 210-pound muscular man. And you say, where did it go? He ate it. So this is what happens right now in the world today. People that are not consuming Kangen water and a few nutrients. Again, how important are the nutrients? The water's 75, the fat is 18, the nutrients are 7. So are you going to get mixed up and think now it's about the nutrition, or are you going to use your intellect here? Hang on. The water is the most important to prevent this cellular degeneration. So when you do not have Kangen water and you have toxic water, what happens is your body is in an advanced state of cannibalism. You're eating your own tissues. And the majority of this is dictated by your pH. As you become acidic, if your blood starts to become acidic past just 0.1 hundredth of a pH point, you'll die. So your body can't let that happen. Your body has intelligence. And so the first thing that happens when you're acidic is you liberate alkaline tissue. And one of the richest sources is bone and bone marrow, and then cartilage and ligaments, and of course all of your internal organs and your muscles and sinew. So to your body, when you're not supplying it, that's good eat. Just eat raw bone marrow and eat some of your brain. So again, that's why we see people having such a dramatic advanced aging in this generation that we didn't see in past generations. Our food supply is almost of no value, according to the USRDA and the Agricultural Department and science and medicine. Everybody agrees. Food in the United States will not sustain healthy life. We are kind of just existing on it. It's a lot of empty calories. So it's kind of a bleak picture out there, but you have a chance to turn this around by addressing the single most important factor. That's the water. Start getting perfect water in you, and we'll do another call sometime on the optimal way to consume that water. But let me give you a visual. Imagine the tallest building in the whole world that you ever saw. That, we'll say, that's the importance, that's the value, that is the potential of how much Kangen water can change your life. Just by putting in the single most important thing into your body, and it's in its perfect form. And again, if you're 75% optimally, you're talking about your average person is about 15 or 16 gallons of that perfect water. So sometimes when I tell people to drink a gallon a day, they gasp. And I tell them, well, really, if you want a reverse problem, you need 2 gallons. And they just roll their eyes back like they're going to die. And then I show them a picture of the human body being 16 gallons. Then it doesn't seem so strange. Most people are walking around, if you should be 16 gallons or 15, most people are walking around from 10 to 13 gallons. Some people are below 10 gallons of water. You've seen these people. They have leathery skin. Their bones are brittle. They got deep grooves. 7 has severe osteoporosis of my spine and pelvis at age 37. And now I'm almost 50, and my bones are better than a 20-year-old. Complete reversal. Had low muscle tone, and now I got excellent muscle tone. And all that came from changing my water. So that's my testimony on that, and I think I'm about ready to turn it over I might just mention also that you can look up the inventor of this water machine, Mr. Hiro Oshiro. His name's got two heroes in it. I like that. Hiromi Oshiro. There's pictures on the internet of him. He's about 75, maybe 77, and he looks 40. Jet black hair, robust chest and shoulders, healthy skin, and if you're lucky enough to find the right picture, he's standing next to his old business partner, who looks like 90, and they're both the exact same age. And Mr. Oshiro was able to drink Kangen water for 30 years prior to this other business partner finding out about it, and that's why the vast difference. So I'm going to check my notes here because I was asked to cover a few things, and I will tell you the main thing. This is what I tell all my patients. I got the picture of the 75% water. I got a picture of a man, and then 15 gallons of water, and then a little barrel of fat, and then a small urn of dust. When somebody's cremated, all the fat and water is burned off. And so that little pile of dust, that's what everybody's worried about. So stop worrying about the nutrition so much. Get in, try to get a source of all 300, and you'll be happy, but it could be even an ounce a day. That's pretty awesome. But get in gallons of water. But I love to help young moms now because I would say without much equivocation that 100% of all baby and young children problems is from a lack of a good water and can be resolved with Kangen water. So the main problem with babies, especially their bowels, slow down because it's the wrong water and the wrong food. And once the constipation starts, then the fever, the colic, the drippy nose, the ear infections. You wouldn't believe that the ear infection is from poop in the bowel, but you might have heard that old wise saying from our old ancestors that they're full of undigested food up to their ears. Well, that's the truth with ear infections. Ear infections are a poop problem. So is a runny nose and a cough and asthma and every single thing that a little kid deals with. And then when we get in the teen years, kids don't like water. Kids like soda pop and sweet drinks and French fries and a lot of starchy carbs. So they're incredibly dehydrated. And their skin suffers, especially. So they have terrible skin and acne. And then the other thing that teens go through is horrible hormones. And their development is putting an extra stress on that. And because they don't have the right water, they can't make the optimal 87 human hormones. And so that's why all teens go crazy. In your opinion, you're not imagining it. They are crazy. You know, if your hormones are off, your brain's not working right. So all you need to do to change someone's attitude is fill them with water. The first thing will happen is more of the old, dry, stagnant poop will start to flush out. And teenagers are really full of poop. That's one of the reasons they're so moody and mad. And then everything will start to flow, and they can actually make hormones. When we get into young adults, sometimes people have almost got it figured out. You know, they're eating a little bit healthy, they're exercising, they're trying to drink more water, even though it's the wrong water. But, you know, sometimes there's that little sweet spot around 20 where people come in, they seem to be doing pretty good. And then I put them on Kangen water, and their whole life changes. And then all of a sudden, all the things that they didn't even come in talking about, they start talking about, oh, I'm sleeping better, and I have energy, and I feel good. And I can't tell you how many times I've heard people say this testimony. I think I'm going to make it now. In other words, I apply a few of these simple health rules, like a little bit of nutrition, water, and people come back and they think they're going to make it in life. And before, they had this nagging thought in their head, I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to make it. And they're living in fear. And sometimes that fear gets so severe that it literally causes someone to try to run away from their own mind. And that's why we see in the later years, especially in the seniors, people just are in denial. People are afraid. People are superstitious. And people are losing their minds. And one of the brain specialists in this company that has done a lot of seminars, a lot of work with brain health, she said that even 1% of dehydration of the brain causes trouble with memory, noticeable trouble, 1%. Most seniors got a dried up raisin up there in their head. And you can take someone like that, and it's one of the hardest things to get seniors to start drinking, because seniors don't move very fast, and they don't have that much control of their bladder. And so, adult diaper sales have gone up 423% in the last decade. Everybody's having this trouble, and it's all because of water. And so you try to help these seniors. If you could get the water in them, the few I have, they've come back just like they woke up from being in a coma. They come back and they're sharp as a tack and happy and alive. But the rest of them, they start drinking the water and they say, well, I couldn't make it to the bathroom that many times, so I'm drinking about a cup of that. Or sometimes they drink, almost a quart, and they feel real proud. But here's, again, testimony on how great the water is. Even that little amount sometimes makes a miraculous difference. And they say, my life is better. So if we address the two biggest health concerns in the world, we would have to look at cardiovascular health and diabetes, maybe right after that, obesity. Guess what happens when you flood the body with perfect water? All blood pressure normalizes. Blood sugar is much more manageable. Fat is flushed away and healthy tissue grows. Fat is actually acid storage. So when I flood in an extra gallon of high alkaline Kangen 9.5 water, I force that acidic storage to dump out that acid. And once the acid's gone, the fat goes away. So if you ever had people that were very overweight and they tried to lose weight by starving themselves and they couldn't, that's because their body is acidic. And the acid has to be stored in fat. Otherwise, the acid would kill us. So it's your body's innate intelligence. So I think I better stop because otherwise we're going to go over on the call. And I do have another requirement after 9:30. So I'm going to hand it back over to you. Either are you there, Dan? And
Okay. Hey there. Dr. Berry, that was excellent. I love this call, and folks, this is recorded, so you can actually get back to the person that invited you to the call and get the recording. And Dr. Berry, you did a great job tonight. You answered all the questions I was going to ask you.
Pat, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, hang on a second. Jan will be back with us
it
in a
is
second.
very, very special to have you on the call. You did such a great job.
Okay, hold on, everybody. We're going to bring the
Now
testimony
we know
over.
what to do to help our friends. Okay, now I believe I'm back.
Okay.
Stu, am I back with you?
Dan, I hear you fine. Pat, are you
Yay,
still there?
okay. I am. I am. Okay. All right. Well, folks, I sure hope that you enjoyed Dr. Berry's talk tonight about aging gracefully. And I really do have my mom on the line. She actually waited that whole hour waiting for us to come back to get her. But anyway, let's finish our call tonight with a great testimony. So, back in 2010, my mom and dad got a Soness machine. And back then, that was the starter machine. That's what it was called, a Soness. And Mom drank about 2 quarts of water a day and changed her diet.
Right.
Over the next few years, she got off her diabetes medicine. And
Right.
so she was mostly just drinking 8.5, just the smallest amount there of alkaline water. But this year, something happened. My dad had to have major back surgery. And he
Right.
needed
In fact,
something
two.
very powerful. Yeah, he actually had to have 2 major back surgeries, one 8 weeks after the other, because the first one didn't work. And he needed something extremely powerful to help through the constipation, because you know when you have back surgery, they're going to give you pain medicine, and it makes you constipated. So, and he had to go through the healing process. So my mom said, Dad, if you'll drink a gallon of water, I'll drink a gallon of water. And so that's how it all started. So tonight I'm going to have my mom share, in her words, what happened. So, Mom, I'm so grateful that you waited that whole hour for me to get a hold of you. But you're very precious to me. And at the beginning of the call, I mentioned that you and Dad are very special to me. You've inspired me to work and win, and you taught us by example. And I'm so proud to have you on the call tonight. So go ahead and share your story.
Okay. Well, my name is Pat Jewett, and I'm 83 years old. And at the beginning of for about 15 or 20 years, I was taking 4 different medicines. And one was a statin pill for cholesterol. Another one was a pill for acid reflux. Another one was a Claritin pill for allergies. And then I was also taking a joint pill, and I took that for about 5 years. The other pills I took, 15 or 20 years. But this year, actually, this is 2018, but we're talking about 2017, last year. I was able to stop all these medicines, and then in December, I went to a regular doctor, and they said my cholesterol was excellent. It was 184. They like it to be under 200, and it was they kept it under 200 with the statins. But I was very concerned that with all the eggs I was eating, that I would really go up in my cholesterol. But when I went there in December, it was only 184. I also had some good reports on my sugar and the other vitals. I weigh about 130 pounds. I drink about, between 3 and 4. Sometimes I don't quite make it up to the 4 quarts of the Kangen water. I'm a janitor at our church. I do about 15 hours a week, sometimes 4. It takes sometimes 4 times a week to do that. But I move big tables and heavy chairs. And then this summer, our water, I was going to mention this summer, our water was very smelly and bad tasting in our bathroom. So when I went to our Kangen machine, the water was good. So I was very thankful for the machine in this case too. And I was just really about our December 15th report, that we had such excellent reports going for us. That's about it.
That's a great testimony, Mom.
Yes.
Jan, can I ask your mom a couple things?
Sure.
Hi, Pat, it's Stu. Thank you for sharing that. Now, I just want to kind of expound on things a little bit with you if we can.
Okay.
Now, you were talking about Claritin. What kind of allergies did you have?
Sneezing, mucus, a lot of mucus, clogging up in the morning, that type of thing.
And you'd been on that for about 5 years?
I was on that for, 15, 20 years.
Okay.
But I stopped it last year.
And when you were drinking the 2 quarts of Kangen a day from the little machine, you still had the allergies, but when you went...
Yes, and I was still taking the pill, yeah.
Okay, but in this last year, you went to the big machine, you got the SD501, which we know is about 3 times more powerful of water.
Right.
You went to that one and then increased the amount of water you were drinking to 3 or 4 quarts, that combination of major allergies go away, basically?
Yes.
Okay. And then, I don't know if you mentioned this tonight, but I know in the past from talking to Jan, weren't you also type 2 diabetic for quite a time?
Yes, we were.
How long were you considered type 2 diabetic, and how long were you on was it metformin, the medication for that?
Quite a while. I don't know if it was 15 years. It could have been close to 15.
Okay. And what happened around your 80th birthday after about 5 years of drinking Kangen water?
What happened? I didn't have to take the metformin anymore.
Yeah.
For the type 2 diabetes.
And who told you that you didn't have to take it anymore?
The doctors.
Okay. How cool is that?
Yeah, good.
I mean, honestly, I work with thousands of people all over the country with health issues, and I got to say, in my life experience, I don't ever remember anybody that had been diabetic for 15 years or something like that, and all of a sudden when they turn 80, their doctor tells them that they don't have diabetes anymore and that they don't have to take their medicine anymore. I mean, it doesn't happen in the regular world.
Okay.
And, of course, you and I know why it happened, because you started drinking Kangen water.
Right.
And it took about 5 years for your doctor to give you that official release because you were just drinking a couple of quarts a day. My contention is, had you been drinking 4 quarts or more all along, you probably would have had that same result in less than a year rather than 5 years. But the main thing is, it's got to feel good at 80 years of age to be told you're not diabetic anymore.
Right.
And weren't you in some kind of arthritis pain? Was it your shoulder, your knee, or something like that?
Oh yes, but that's I still have some arthritis, but I do have supports that I wear on my knees.
Okay. And then what else was it? Was there another pain you had, like in your neck or something, that got better?
Yep, I have that too, but I have a support that I wear for that, but I don't have it anymore. I did last year, but I don't have the neck pain anymore.
Yeah, and I think basically the thing you changed most in the last year was you went from the little Kangen water
machine to the bigger one, yes.
One, and you also pretty much doubled the amount you were drinking.
Yes, that's right.
All right. Well, it's a great story, and I appreciate you sharing it with us all. It's very nice of you.
You're welcome.
And Mom,
call back now.
Okay, great. Mom, thanks for hanging in there for the hour while we...
Well, I didn't know what to do. I thought, well, maybe other people are long-winded sharing their testimonies.
Well, I really appreciate you hanging in there. So, and it's been.
And then we turned on the TV, and then we see that you tried to call. So Dad said, you better hang it up and see if they can get a hold of you.
That was a good thing. Okay,
hey, girls, can I share one more thing? Can I share one more thing before we go?
Sure.
It just I'm smiling right now as I'm thinking of this. But I actually had the pleasure of meeting Jan's mom and dad about 8 years ago.
That's right.
I was invited by a cancer clinic in Flint, Michigan, to come give a testimony on the water. And while I was going to be there, I was going to stay with my aunt and uncle in Hillsdale, Michigan.
Right. And I remember that.
I happened to mention that to Jan on the phone one day. She was in Texas. I'm in California. I told her I was getting ready to go to Michigan, and I didn't know that's where her parents live. I'd forgotten that. So Jan says, well, can I fly to Michigan and go to your seminar and bring my mom and dad? And I said, right. Of course. So that was wonderful. So Jan flew to Michigan, got her mom and dad and her sister to come to the presentation, and shortly after that, you started drinking the water. And you can't believe how big a smile it puts on my face to hear now, 8 years later, that you're off all your medicine, and at 83, you're going strong. So I'm just so appreciative that we got to meet you, and thank you for believing us.
Thank you.
You wouldn't believe how many people don't believe it. It's just so hard for people to believe it at first. But what a difference it makes when you bring it into your life.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you, Pat. Nice to talk with you. Jan, back to you.
Okay. Well, folks, we'll be back next week. So come back and share a great story again with us next week. Thanks for joining us. Have a great week, everybody. Thanks, Sue. Thanks, Mom.